Hello, this is Dan, the oral cancer man. I'm not sure if anybody out there has had this problem, but I have, and I thought that if anybody else was going through this situation, that maybe they would like to call and talk to me or comment, and we can talk. I can explain what I've went through. You can explain what you've went through. So, just to give you a lowdown on what has happened to me. January of 2025, I had known something was going on in my mouth. So, I started bleeding in my mouth and it wouldn't stop bleeding. So then I went to the hospital, which I kind of knew what was going on previous to me going through the situation. A friend of mine went through the same thing, told me he had gone through this oral cancer thing. So I kind of had a heads up on what was going to happen to me. So unfortunately, what I did was I avoided the Christmas holidays. I knew what was going on, but I avoided the Christmas holidays so I didn't run my family through the worry of what was going to happen. Went to the Paris Emergency, Ontario, that is. Took a long time there. They assessed me and whatnot there. Then I got shipped to the Brantford General, Ontario, that is, which in turn sent me off to Hamilton St. Joseph's, which they deal with cancer patients. And because my mouth wouldn't stop bleeding, they cauterized me, which was a very, very painful thing. I hope nobody ever has to go through that, because let me tell you, that was not fun. So, they cauterized me, took a biopsy of what was in my mouth. They wanted me to stay in the hospital, but they couldn't get the results from the biopsy until the Friday. Well, I said, I'm not bleeding. Let me go home. Call me back. Which in turn, all did. They said I could go home as long as I wouldn't bleed. And if I started bleeding after being home, I had to go back right away. Everything worked out good. Next thing I know, I got an appointment for January 23rd, which happened to be my son's 16th birthday, so I missed that. But that was the day they did the surgery. And what they did for the surgery is they went in, okay, they cut me from ear to ear. You can't see much of a scar now, but in other photos, I can include photos on the staples that went around my neck, made me look like Frankenstein, so to speak. But anyways, they cut me ear to ear, lifted my face up, then they cut my jaw out approximately here to here. They removed that chunk of the jaw. Now, what they did, let me move around here a little bit, was they took, it's a little dark, let me see if I can get the light a little better here for you. They took the bone out of my leg, and it just so happens I had a tattoo of my daughter on my leg, and they took this big piece of meat here out, and that now is in the bottom of my mouth, which is kind of different. Now I have a tattoo in the bottom of my mouth of my daughter's name. And they also took a skin graft from my hip here. I'm not sure if I'm showing that very well, but apparently that didn't take anyways. So that's kind of amazing that they can take a bone from your leg and put it in your mouth. Okay, bear with me here. You know what? I've never done anything on a YouTube channel before, so you have to bear with me. This is my first time doing anything. But, in all, that's basically what I went through. And I had the trachom or trach thing in there. Nurses come to my house every day. They wanted me to stay there for 14 days. I had enough after 10. Pardon me, 9. So I came home. Apparently against doctor's orders. The one good thing is, while I was in there, they allowed me beer, which I had to be fed through the feeding tube. But if you like drinking beer like I do, you have to be honest with the doctors. They don't want you to go through the withdrawals, so they'll give you beer. You don't actually get to drink it out of the can, but hey, you can smell it, you can taste it. Right on. Okay, like I said, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so if anybody's interested and you would like to comment or talk, because I have lots of other stories dealing with this cancer thing. It's stage 4, by the way. And the radiation I went through 6 weeks of radiation. Well, we can get to that further on. I don't know. Like I said, this is just my first one. Let's give it a go. Alright. Thanks everybody for reading.